Hello everyone, it's Richard Lewis here again with another video, and buckle up because we're going to be talking about everyone's favourite topic here on this YouTube channel. We're going to be talking about the Overwatch League and how, for the second time in as many years, it's lost its commissioner. You might have heard of Pete Vlastelica. He's someone who came across to the league from Fox Sports, and he was put in as commissioner after Nate Nanza went. Nate Nanza, hugely influential on how the league was working, very well liked by the staff, and was stolen away by Epic Games to go work on Fortnite. And then, if we're being honest about it, doesn't seem to have done a lot of much while he was over there, which is kind of weird. But regardless, Pete Vlastelica stepped in. Now, as we'll get into, Pete Vlastelica was someone that wasn't particularly popular with a lot of the staff. When I was writing my articles and everything, all the sources were saying he was a constant thorn in the side for a lot of people, was difficult to work with, didn't take feedback particularly well when it came to implementing ideas for the show. So when he was bumped up to commissioner, essentially, or rather he took on that role in addition to what he was doing, there was a lot of people kind of rolled their eyes over in that neck of the woods and were like, well, here we go again. Well, anyway, the Overwatch League, it's not been doing great, and don't need to harp on that point in this video. It's self-evident. Viewership's down. They've made a lot of cutbacks on the broadcast. The COVID pandemic has fucked over their business model, essentially, with the live events. They're not happening. So it's not in a great spot, and we don't know what's going to be happening in 2021. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be speculating pretty wildly because with the pandemic response still up in the air, we don't know if Overwatch is really ever going to get back on track, if it can. Meanwhile, CDL, which we'll talk about briefly in this, is doing really well. It's punching above expectations. It's achieved viewership that set records for Call of Duty events. So, if I was Activision Blizzard, 1 out of 2 ain't bad. But whatever, anyway, that's a topic for another time. So I'll just bring this up for you. This report was broken by Kevin Hitt, an old colleague of mine back when I used to work at VP Esports. I've been doing some great work lately, and you can see that they didn't go into great detail as to why Pete Vlastelica, the CEO, was being removed as commissioner of the Overwatch League, or indeed what it means for him long-term at the company, because obviously commissioner is just one of his roles. He's still staying at Activision Blizzard. Although I've heard rumors afoot about, he had an extension that was meant to be happening and all sorts of other stuff, and maybe it's not now. So I don't know if Pete Vlastelica is going to stay on at Activision Blizzard for a particularly long time. I guess we'll wait and see. But you can see the statement that Activision Blizzard put out. They said, Pete Vlastelica, CEO of Activision Blizzard Esports and commissioner of the Overwatch League, will transition from his role in ABE, that's Activision Blizzard Entertainment, to focus on new entrepreneurial ventures on behalf of Activision Blizzard following the Overwatch League Grand Finals. He was instrumental in building the company's esports business and driving the industry forward, and we thank Pete for his contributions and impact on our business over the last 4 years. Kind of a weird one, because there wasn't a lot of people that were out there praising Pete Vlastelica. You know what it's like when somebody leaves like a role at a company, even if it's not great, the reasons why they've been moved on, if it's financial or if they did do a bad job. Usually people will come out the woodwork to wish them well. Well, there wasn't really any of that. And just to underline, I did tell people about this back in June of last year. Once again, the competitive Overwatch subreddit and other people said I just was pulling this out my ass. But it was more high-profile Blizzard staff set to leave amid morale problems. And in that article was a quote specifically about Pete Vlastelica and how people didn't want to work for him. So it's not really a surprise that he has been essentially put out to pasture, certainly as commissioner. Anyway, I'll also just show you one of these reactions from Monte Cristo in a now deleted tweet. I'm sure he won't mind me using it because it's all in the game. He did put out in a sea of bad news in 2020. It's nice to know that there's still a little ray of sunshine in the world. He did delete that and then come back with a more kind of like balanced, I suppose it would be one way of putting it, tweet. But Monte Cristo, since he's left as the Overwatch League, he's been pretty transparent in some of the criticisms he had, and it's very clear that he doesn't get along with Pete Vlastelica, or didn't really see his way of doing things is the way. forward. Same with Doa. Doa said, "See ya," which, again, Eric's one of the nicest guys you're ever going to meet, and for him to sort of revel in Pete, being moved across, probably tells its own story. You can see as well, he said, "So the question is, do we get a qualified individual with an esports background and knowledge of what it takes to move the industry forward, or B, Joe Sports Ball Executive number 3762. So it's not clear who's going to replace Pete Plastelika as a commissioner long term, or whether indeed they'll even bother hiring for that role specifically, because first of all, it's a poison chalice. I don't know who would want to go and work there as commissioner of the Overwatch League right now. With all of the problems the league has got, with Activision Blizzard going all in on Overwatch 2, I don't even know how they think that's going to save the league per se. It might save the portfolio, because it's an extra game that people are going to play for, essentially just to get a single-player campaign and higher graphical fidelity for Overwatch. And there'll be a lot of lore in there. If you're an Overwatch fan, probably a lot of content worth buying. But what does it do for the esports side of things? Real talk, fuck all. So I don't know why anyone would want to step into this role as a permanent hire. And if Activision Blizzard are thinking about shuttering the doors at some point in the not too distant future, why hire anyone at all? Why waste that money? Why recruit an extra person into the company that once the league closes, you're either going to have to lay off and pay a severance package, or move them into another project and pay them benefits and all of that stuff. It's a long-term investment to hire someone, even for a company that treats its employees as wretchedly as Activision Blizzard does. So what they've done in the short term, and this is a great move in my opinion, is Joanna Faris is become the head of leagues, and she's going to run both Call of Duty and Overwatch leagues. This report again by Kevin Hitt. So let me just tell you a little bit about, because I know a lot of you guys probably don't follow Call of Duty, and what they've been doing with the CDL. Well, Joanna is actually the person that's been running that very successful side of things, a very successful project. And there's no question about her competence. I mean, Pete Plastelika's CV looks really good, coming from Fox Sports. We all know how good Fox Sports are for sports broadcasts. But Joanna Faris worked at the NFL for almost 12 years in a variety of business development roles, not just the broadcast side of things, actually understanding what franchises need to be successful in their business. She's incredibly intelligent, Harvard graduate. These things speak for themselves. And the success of the CDL certainly speaks for itself. So temporarily, and maybe with a view to it being permanent for as long as the Overwatch League can keep going, she's going to be the person that's essentially the commissioner for both leagues in this new title. And I think it's going to be interesting, because I don't know how much influence she's going to have necessarily over the league, like how specific her input's going to be. But she is someone that, they do things a little bit differently over in CDL. I know from talking to the owners that own both franchises, an Overwatch franchise and a Call of Duty franchise, they're all very happy with the way the CDL stuff has been going and the opportunities that have been created over there. So actually, I'm going to do something that you guys, probably aren't expecting. I think inadvertently, the removal of Pete Plastelika and bringing Joanna across is probably a good thing for the Overwatch League. Whether or not she can fix any of these problems, whether or not she even, wants to get involved, and maybe there is a plan to just have someone come in full-time, because it's not fair, to put two incredibly demanding high-pressure jobs on one person. All of that is Activision Blizzard's MO right now. But I think if she does get to have her input, I've seen interviews with her where she's talking about CDL. She's very impressive. She seems to know what she's talking about, even from an esports perspective. I think there's a chance that maybe she could course correct the ship a little bit. Now, the ship's still eventually going to hit the iceberg. It's just whether it hits it next year or the year after that or the year after that. It's not a sustainable model, not for this particular game. But it's important for everyone that's invested in the league, and everyone, all the players, all the coaches, all the analysts, all the managers, all the jobs, that there's like this gradual downsizing, essentially, because if that isn't there, and it is just like a CGS where everyone wakes up one day and there's an email essentially telling you you're on the breadline, that's going to be really, really bad for the esports economy, especially while we're heading into an uncertain time with the real world economy. So I'm hoping Joanna does get to have a fair bit of input into what happens with the Overwatch League, but because she's intelligent and competent, I doubt Activision Blizzard will listen to her. They'll probably find an idiot to take over the Overwatch League, so we'll wait and see. So I just thought I'd keep you up to date with all of that stuff. Obviously, coming a bit late to that story because I've been busy chasing others and working over at Deserto and doing content for them. But so far, I mean, the optics of this are terrible. The Overwatch League can't hold on to a commissioner. The Overwatch League can't make its business model work. The Overwatch League just had its finals, and by any metric except the one that they like to peddle with Chinese viewership attached to it, viewers are down, everything's down. It's a tough time for the Overwatch League. It's a tough time for Overwatch fans, and Joanna's involvement is a sort of little bit of a light in a very, very dark time. So we'll wait and see how it pans out. Anyway, those are my thoughts about that, just to let you know. As always, leave a comment for the algorithm. Stick a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It's all engagement. It's all the same to me. Put your opinions down below if you're an Overwatch fan. Tell me why I'm wrong. Looking forward to it. And I'll see you on the next video. Take care.